Hello everyone, and welcome back to our For You Fitness podcast. I hope you enjoyed our last podcast with Miss Parita Patel and our client Renee Vaughn. If you missed it, you're going to want to check it out because it's extremely helpful to those who are embarking on a healthier lifestyle, and it's great to hear from our own clients. So for today, you are in store for a topic that is so underrated, yet it's so vital for progress and health overall. I have actually been known to turn away clients if they don't get enough of this. Can anyone guess what this is? It's sleep, guys. Yeah, it's not a very sexy subject, but we are going to cover it. Sleep is absolutely essential for optimal health because a lack of sleep, especially on a regular basis, is associated with long-term health consequences like diabetes, high blood pressure, and even heart disease. So if that doesn't shake you up enough, would you believe that there is a direct relationship and a strong association with sleep and fat storage? When we don't get adequate amounts of sleep, several things happen. Number one, when we're tired and exhausted, we do not make the best decisions when it comes to food. We simply lack the willpower to make healthy choices because we don't have the energy to do so. Number two, when we don't get enough sleep, our body becomes more sensitive to the hormone insulin, making us super vulnerable to storing more fat. That is no bueno. Number three, when we don't sleep, our brain can actually become more sensitive to food smells. I'm going to share a study with you that was presented at the Cognitive Neuroscience Society's annual meeting. That is a mouthful. They basically shared that participants who only got 4 hours of sleep showed greater brain activity in response to food smells like potato chips and donuts, in comparison to a person who slept an average of about 8 hours. That's not good at all. And this actually makes so much sense because if you think about those nights that you just got cruddy sleep, how many of you can honestly say that you were craving a giant salad or a bowl full of veggies that next day? Yeah? That does not happen when you get crappy sleep, guys. And number four, if you don't get enough sleep, it is highly likely that the hunger hormone ghrelin, that's the grr, will increase in women, and the satiety hormone in men will increase. So, to my ladies, if you're getting an average of 4 to 5 hours of sleep, pay attention to how ravenous you are. If you are extra hungry throughout the day, this is the reason why: lack of sleep. And men, if you slept terribly, you will unlikely be satisfied after your meals. So with all that said, this should raise some red flags for a lot of us. We completely underestimate the power of sleep, and we wonder why we have hit plateaus and why we can't get results. Think about it. With all that hard work that you put into your workouts, into your nutrition, don't you want to see the payoff? Heck yes, right? So I'm going to run through a few tips that may help you get some good Z's. Got it? All right, so tip number one. We want to avoid using bright screens and electronics a few hours before bedtime because those pretty blue lights can actually suppress the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that controls our sleep cycle. And if we are using our phones up until the time that we actually fall asleep, that melatonin will keep reducing, and in turn, it's going to make it harder for us to stay asleep. So you can do this by dimming your screens on your phone. Yes, your phones do that, which will that will reduce that blue glow. Or you can also get a cool little pair of amber tinted glasses. You find them on Amazon for like $9.99. In an ideal world, you would turn off all electronics a few hours before bedtime, or you would keep them in a separate bedroom. Yeah, that probably isn't going to happen, right? I know. We got to try though. Number two, Try putting your phone on airplane mode or turn off the Wi-Fi. Why, you may ask? Well, this is because cell phones have been shown to emit a form of electromagnetic radiation, also known as EMFs, and this can also cause a reduction in melatonin. This is especially important for those of you who sleep with your cell phone on your nightstand and use it as an alarm clock. Those EMFs from our phones can disrupt your sleep, and not to mention, it can actually wreak havoc on your immune system. No thank you. I actually tried doing this personally a few days in a row and definitely experienced some hard sleep. Like a freight train came smashing through my wall, ran me over, and I still didn't wake up. It was crazy how deep into REM I actually got. It was fabulous. So try setting your phone on airplane mode or turn the Wi-Fi off while you're sleeping. And especially if you sleep with your phone very close to your head at night. The alarm will still go off, okay? Personal experience, it will still work. Or get a separate alarm clock. So moving on to other tips not involving electronics, let's talk supplements. If you own a bath, or if you like to take baths, let's try throwing in some Epsom salt. Well, what is Epsom salt? Epsom salt isn't actually a salt. It's a naturally occurring pure mineral compound of magnesium and sulfate. And magnesium is well known for its ability to relieve insomnia and has also been shown to decrease the stress hormone cortisol, which is that lovely hormone that tends to keep us up at night. But if you don't do baths, you can always incorporate magnesium through topical sprays, or you can take it orally. Magnesium will also help relax your muscles and get you into that calm, sleepy-like feeling and really help you unwind after a long, stressful day, which is kind of perfect for training days too. Another means for better sleep is melatonin. A lot of you may already be familiar with this. You really want your body to produce its own melatonin. So if you're in the dark all day long, or if you work indoors and get no natural form of sunlight, you run the risk of not optimizing your melatonin production. So obviously, one of the best ways to increase your melatonin production naturally is to get exposure to bright sunlight during the day and sleep in complete blackness at night. Super dark. This, a way you can do this is take a 5-minute break throughout the day, sometime during the day, and just step outside and get vitamin D. If you live in the state of Florida, there's plenty of that. Literally, just take 5 minutes out of your day, step outside, enjoy it. Now, for some, this is nearly impossible, especially if you work a night shift or if you travel a lot and experience jet lag. So this is where supplementation may be very appropriate. Now, please take caution if you are taking higher doses of melatonin, such as 3 milligrams or more, because this can sometimes make you more awake instead of making you more sleepy. So adjust your dose carefully, and ideally, of course, you want to be under the guidance of a holistic healthcare practitioner. Personally, melatonin knocks me the F out. Oh yes, but that next morning, I feel like I got hit by a dump truck. It's terrible. So if you're anything like me and I've had that same experience, you're going to want to rely on other remedies, and another supplement you can try is 5-HTP. This is short for hydroxytryptophan. So to kind of keep it simple, 5-HTP converts L-tryptophan into serotonin. Then it uses that serotonin to make melatonin. So it's a little cause and effect. I honestly had never heard of this until I recently started doing some research for my mom, who's always gotten terrible sleep. So in that research, I found that it states 5-HTP can actually boost your mood and promote better sleep because of the serotonin production. So basically, all of this means that 5-HTP can help the body's biological clock stay in sync. And when we are in sync and on a regular sleep-wake cycle, everything just falls into place. It's a beautiful thing if you actually get it. All right, so if supplements just aren't for you, or they aren't working the way you want them to, then another method through food is called carb backloading. Well, what is this carb backloading? Before I do get into this method is not for everyone, especially if you are insulin sensitive or you know you have issues with eating carbs late at night. So carb backloading simply means that you would strategically consume and place your carbs during the last meal of the day. Now, I'm not saying you can do this every night. No. Back up. One way to approach this is by going super low carb for several days, then planning a carb night and consume anywhere between, let's say, 100 to 200 grams of carbs. This, of course, is dependent on the individual. So many factors go in hand, like your training regimen, your insulin sensitivity, and so much more information. So it would be similar to going keto, low carb, for a few days, then shocking your system with that load of carbs once or maybe twice per week. If this does in fact work, not only will this help you sleep better on those nights, but you may also see more fat loss because you are refilling your carb stores and cranking your metabolism. Not to mention, it's good for the mind because you are actually getting to enjoy carbs. That is balance, my friends. You definitely have to self-experiment with this one. So on that first night, ease into the amount of carbs that you're consuming and go from there. Always take notes on how much you're consuming and how you feel that next day, how you slept actually that night, and how you feel in the preceding days. Also take note of how your lifts were on those following days. All right, so my last easy recommendation to you is, drum roll please, probably not appropriate. Anyways, we're going to try to add some lavender essential oils into your bedroom. A few studies have shown that lavender has relaxing effects just similar to magnesium and can also relieve sleepiness upon waking. So you're going to wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So at night, you can instill a very calming bedtime routine with a diffuser or even lavender-infused linens. It just smells nice and it's peaceful and it's like raindrops in your bedroom. It's wonderful. Okay, so that's it, guys. Short and sweet. Let me sum up our tips for getting better sleep. Number one, avoid using those bright screens, your phones, and electronics, the TV, a few hours before bedtime. Okay, number two, try putting your phone on airplane mode or turn off the Wi-Fi at night, or at least keep it away from your head. Number three, use epsom salt or magnesium, and again, that's through topical or orally. You can also supplement with melatonin or 5-HTP. Both of those can be found at your local vitamin shop or health market. Number five, try carb backloading once per week to start. See how you feel after that. And lastly, go for those lavender essential oils. Got it? So, if you're not getting good sleep, do your homework and at least try one of these tips and let us know how you feel. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to our podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Guys, we greatly appreciate you listening. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to bringing the next podcast to you, which I don't know what it's going to be, but stay tuned.